Let's be honest, learning a language as an adult is just harder. And if you've been struggling with Japanese, it's probably not because you're bad at languages or lazy or just not a language person. Most of the time, it's because we're learning Japanese in a way that actually fights the way our adult's brain actually works. We look at Japanese kids and think, wow, they learn very fast, or they're just built differently. But they're not. They're just simply learning in an environment that actually makes sense for how humans naturally acquire language. So in this video, I want to break down how Japanese kids actually learn Japanese, why that works so well, and more importantly, what adults can realistically take from that instead of just blaming ourselves. As adults, we're often told that learning a language is harder because our brains are less flexible. But that's actually not the full story. Adult brains aren't worse at learning. They're just optimized differently. They're designed for efficiency, not absorption. When we learn something as adults, we want structure. We want rules. We want definitions. We want clear explanations. We want to know why something works before feeling comfortable using it. And don't get me wrong, that approach works really well for a lot of things, but language doesn't naturally develop that way. Now, kids don't learn Japanese by understanding the rules first. They learn by seeing the same kanji and words over and over again in different situations until those patterns become familiar. Meaning comes before accuracy. Another big difference is how we deal with mistakes. Kids make mistakes constantly and they don't think twice about it. They see the wrong thing, get corrected, and move on. There's no judgment attached. Adults, on the other hand, are very aware of their mistakes. We hear ourselves say something wrong and we immediately start monitoring everything we say. We hesitate, we overthink, and sometimes we just stop using the language altogether. That self-correction slows down the learning process a lot more than we realize. And then there's exposure. Now, Japanese kids are surrounded by the language all the time. At school, at home, on TV, on signs, in conversations. If you think about it, they're getting thousands of hours of input without even trying. Now, most adults learning Japanese or any language at all don't have that. We might study for 20 or 30 minutes a day, often in isolation, and then expect ourselves to remember everything perfectly. So the issue isn't that adults are bad at learning languages. It's that we're learning under high pressure, limited exposure, and unrealistic expectations. And then blaming ourselves when progress feels slow. Once you understand that, a lot of the frustration around kanji and Japanese in general start to make much more sense. So when we talk about Japanese kids learning Japanese, the biggest misconception is that they're studying all the time. They're not. They're simply absorbing the language long before anyone explains it to them. The first thing to understand is that exposure comes before explanation. Japanese kids see kanji everywhere. On street signs, in classroom walls, in books, on TV, years before they're ever asked to memorize anything. They don't start by learning this kanji has this meaning and this reading. They start by recognizing it. This shows up here. This is on that sign. This is something adults use. Meaning comes first, not perfection. The second big difference is context. Kids don't learn kanji in isolation. They don't sit with a list of random characters and try to memorize them. Every kanji is attached to a situation, a place, a feeling, a routine. So instead of learning, here is a kanji and here's its definition, they learn, oh, I see this kanji when I enter somewhere. Or this is the word that means that I shouldn't be doing something. That context makes the kanji stick. And the third, and probably the most important factor, is repetition without urgency. Japanese kids see the same kanji again and again over years. There's no pressure to master it the first time, or the 10th time, or even the 50th time. For a long time, recognition is enough. And because there's no rush, there's also no anxiety attached getting it wrong. That's very different from how adults usually learn Japanese, where we see a kanji once, test ourselves immediately, and then feel frustrated when it doesn't stick. So Japanese kids aren't learning because they're smarter. They're learning in a system that allows familiarity to build naturally. And once you see that, it becomes really clear why this approach works and why adults struggle so much when we try to force mastery too early. So why does this way of learning work so well? It's because language isn't something we store as a list of facts. It's something we build through patterns. When Japanese kids see the same kanji over and over, their brain isn't trying to memorize it perfectly. It's slowly answering a much simpler question. Have I seen this before? That sense of familiarity is incredibly powerful. Before kids can read or write kanji, their brains already know. This belongs here. This shows up in this kind of situation. This feels familiar. That is why recognition comes first. and why it feels so effortless. Adults are usually taught to skip that step. We're shown a new kanji, given the meanings, the reading, and maybe even how to write it, and then immediately get tested. No familiarity, no context, just pressure. And when it doesn't stick, we assumed we failed instead of questioning the method. Another reason this works is that forgetting is expected. Japanese kids forget things all the time, and it doesn't matter because they know they'll see it again. For adults, forgetting feels like a problem, somehow proof that we're not making any progress. But forgetting is actually part of how memory strengthens. Every time you re-encounter something, your brain updates the pattern. So the goal isn't actually to memorize kanji once and never forget it. The goal is to meet it again and again until it becomes familiar. That's why this approach feels much less exhausting too. You're not fighting your brain and you're letting it do what it's naturally good at. And once you understand that, the question stops being, how do I memorize kanji faster? And becomes, how do I see kanji more naturally and more often? So at this point, the question becomes, if adults don't have constant exposure like kids do, how do we recreate that in a realistic way? Now this is where MochiKanji has actually made a huge difference for me. What I like about it is that it doesn't try to force mastery right away. Instead, it's built around gradual familiarity, which is exactly what we talked about when kids learning Japanese. Now, the first thing you'll notice about MochiKanji is that it organizes vocabulary by real life relevance, not just textbook order. So you're learning words and kanji that you'll actually see on signs, on menus, in stations, instead of just abstract characters that you probably won't encounter for years. Now that already removes a lot of pressure. Now one feature I really like is Golden Time. Golden Time, which is based on SRS techniques and your learning process, shows you kanji that are at the perfect time for review. Not too easy, not already forgotten, but right before they fade from memory. Now this mirrors natural exposure. It's like seeing the same kanji again on a sign after a few days later, instead of just cramming everything at once. Another thing MochiKanji does well is their 5 levels of memorization. With MochiKanji, you're not expected to fully master a kanji immediately. You move through stages, from recognition to familiarity to recall, which reflects how our brains actually learn. For adults, this is huge. Forgetting isn't treated as failure, it's simply part of the process. There's also a digital notebook, which is my personal favorite feature. You can check the level of any words you learned here. Instead of copying kanji mindlessly, you can look up words that you come across in real life, immediately see its meaning, how it's used in context with example sentences, and save it in your notebook for review later. If writing helps you learn, MochiKanji also has a kanji stroke order practice. But what I like about MochiKanji is that writing isn't forced up front. You can focus on recognition first, bring in writing later, which is a lot more realistic for adult learners. MochiKanji also helps you study by different topics. So instead of random lists, you can focus on things like daily life, business, or common situations. Again, context over memorization. And of course, there are flashcards, but they're designed around spaced repetition. You're seeing kanji again and again in slightly different ways over time, which builds familiarity naturally. What I appreciate about MochiKanji is that it doesn't make you feel behind. It assumes you're busy and it assumes you'll forget. And it works with that instead of against it. So if traditional kanji has ever felt discouraging or overwhelming, this kind of approach can make learning Japanese feel a lot more human and a lot more sustainable. And once you have a tool that recreates that kind of low pressure exposure, learning kanji starts to feel less like studying and more like starting to recognize something familiar. If you want to try MochiKanji out for yourself, you can go check them out on their website or download their app on Google Play or the App Store. So once you understand how Japanese kids learn and you have tools that support that kind of exposure, the next step is adjusting your expectations as an adult learner. The biggest shift is this. You don't need to learn everything right away. It's okay to recognize a kanji without learning how to read it perfectly. It's okay to see a word and think, oh, I've seen this before, even if you can't produce it yet. Now that recognition is progress. Another important change is focusing on frequency instead of completion. A lot of adult learners, including myself, feel pressure to finish things. Finish a textbook, finish a kanji list, finish a JLPT level. But language doesn't work like checklists. It works through repeated encounters. Seeing the same kanji 10 times over a few weeks is far more valuable than learning 10 new ones in a day. Consistency matters more than intensity. It also helps to separate recognition from production. You don't need to write every kanji perfectly the first time you learn it. You don't even need to remember all the readings immediately. Let your brain get used to seeing it first. Writing and recall can come later, and when they do, they'll feel much easier. And finally, give yourself permission to learn slowly. Japanese kids aren't in a rush. They're allowed to forget. They're allowed to be confused. As adults, we often expect ourselves to make constant, visible progress. And that pressure is what makes learning feel very exhausting. But when you shift your goal from, I need to master this, to I want this to feel more familiar, everything completely changes. Learning Japanese starts to feel less like a test that you're failing at and more like a language that you're naturally getting more used to. And this difference in mindset also explains something a lot of learners find frustrating. Why there are kanji that you see every single day in Japan, yet they barely show up on your tests. This is where a lot of adult learners start to feel frustrated. You study Japanese, you learn vocabulary, you memorize kanji, and then you come to Japan or just simply watch Japanese content and then realize there are a bunch of words in kanji that you keep seeing that you've barely studied at all. And it's not because those kanjis aren't important, it's because tests measure something very specific. Now, most tests are designed to evaluate whether you can recall information on demand. They prioritize clear readings, clear meanings, and clear right or wrong answers. Now, that makes sense for testing, but it doesn't reflect how language is used in real life. A lot of extremely high-frequency kanji are learned through exposure, not through memorization. They're learned because you see them again and again, on signs, on buildings, on daily routines. Now, Japanese kids don't sit down and study many of these kanji early on. They simply absorb them naturally, long before anyone tests them. Adults, on the other hand, often skip this stage entirely. We jump straight to memorization because that's what tests reward. So we end up in a strange situation, knowing how to read obscure kanji that we rarely see while still hesitating over kanji that we see everywhere. Now, that mismatch can make you feel like you're bad at Japanese, even when you're not. But once you learn the difference between test knowledge and living language, it becomes a lot easier to be strategic about how you study. Japanese kids don't learn faster. They learn differently. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. Learning Japanese as an adult is harder. Definitely yes, but not because you're bad at it. It's harder because most of us are taught to learn Japanese in ways that don't align with how language is acquired. Japanese kids aren't racing to master kanji. They're allowed to see things slowly. They're allowed to forget, and they're also allowed to recognize something long before they understand it. And adults deserve that same kind of learning environment. Once you stop treating Japanese like a test that you're constantly preparing for and start treating it like something you're getting used to, everything shifts. Kanji stops feeling so intimidating, and yes, progress feels quieter, but definitely more real. And learning starts to feel sustainable instead of exhausting. Again, definitely check out MochiKanji if you haven't already. It's helped me tremendously in making sure my Japanese sticks, and it's not just a test that I have to study for just to forget. So if you've ever felt stuck or frustrated or that Japanese just isn't clicking for you, there's nothing wrong with you. You might just need an approach that works with your brain and not against it. If you watched this far, thank you so much for watching, and leave in the comments down below how you like to learn Japanese effectively. See you in the next one. Bye!